Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and this weekend I made a dire mistake. The type of mistake you make when you are extremely tired. So I was getting ready for bed. I am staying at my mom's in Northeast Iowa, so it is super chilly. I just got out of the shower. I put on my long pajama pants, my socks, everything, and I had to make my way from the deck, the house, the interior, whatever, to the covered porch. So they have completely redone a section of the porch and have created like an extra bedroom. So when Garrett and I come to stay with our dogs, we're able to have this like separate from the house but still together with the house situation. It's really nice. I call it cabin number one. So the only problem is the covered deck and the section of the bedroom are separate, right? The covered deck is not heated, but the bedroom is. And the covered deck is more of like a mudroom, a storage situation, and then you just like walk into this cabin number one is what I call it. So I am so tired and I just taken off my makeup. I took a shower. I have to make my way, and it's not very long. Like it's pretty short of a walk. I mean, 4 strides and I'm into the bedroom, but it's Northeast Iowa, okay? It was frigid cold this past weekend. So I rush over and I'm thinking the entire time, oh my gosh, like I have to get from the house, covered porch, into the bedroom. It'll be warm. And when you get out of the shower, right, like it's cold, like the outside is cold, and then going outside is cold. So I was like, all right, I just gotta get there. And so I made my way into the cabin number one. It's not really a cabin, that's just what I call it, Airbnb style. So I get there, I'm like, finally I made it. It's like toasty warm. I know this sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but I was so tired. And when you are extremely tired after a full day of Thanksgiving, we also ran a turkey trot that morning. My body was tired. So I made my way into the bedroom and I lay down and I realized that I did not edit I had already recorded, but I needed to edit what the name of the podcast was going to be. I had just left it untitled on Monday when we had left. So I was like, oh yeah, I have to edit this really quick. I have to add like the captions, get on my phone. And while I'm on my phone, that is when I can feel it. My eyelids feel like these scratchy, like really dry, irritated. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to take out my contacts, which I'm glad that I did not sleep in them, right? But I made my way out of the bathroom without taking them out and putting them in their container. I'm now snuggled in bed with my phone, and I was like, okay, as soon as I get done editing this, then I will get out of bed. Then I will, take them out. But that means I would have to go across the cold deck again. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just thought to myself, you know what? My fingers are clean enough. I will just quickly take them out and I will slide right back into bed because all of my shower stuff is with me, right? Like, this is my mom's house. I carry it to and from. So I edit. I'm like, yeah, my phone is dirty, but like I rather maybe get an infection in my eye than have to go back across the cold deck. So I like took them out and I'm like trying to see. It's dark, like the light's not on. Garrett is sleeping, and I'm like, okay, like, and I put them in and then we traveled back on Sunday. So the Thursday night was Thanksgiving. I had put them in the contacts case. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, well, not Sunday, Friday and Saturday, I wore glasses. Because I was just like, why not? I'm at home, it doesn't matter. And I wore glasses all weekend Come Sunday, we come back, and well, I guess we came back on Saturday. It does not matter, okay? I wore glasses on the drive back. This morning, I wake up and I'm like, oh, my contacts, like I'm gonna put them in because I had hot yoga this morning. And I opened it up and I see one and I put that in. I'm looking for the other. I'm like, where the heck is the other one? I took them out and I did not put them both back into the container, and I ended up finding that contact because I was like, oh crap, like I'm running late to hot yoga. I can't just go with one contact in. We got our first snow outside. So it was like, it's gonna be hazy. Like I better have either both contacts or my glasses. So I went with my glasses, and when I got to my vehicle, I realized that my sweatshirt, because I was wearing the same sweatshirt, the sweatshirt that was on my suitcase actually had the dried contact lens on it. So I was very upset, made a mistake. I am out of contacts. Okay, it is the end of the year, December. Like I was supposed to last out with this last pair of contacts, and I'm like, you're kidding me. So now I have to make a appointment at the eye doctor to get more contacts, and I might as well have a full exam. I'm like, you're kidding. Like if I would have just taken like the extra few moments to get my butt out of bed and go into the actual bathroom to take them out, I would have my contacts. And let me tell you, these are fresh contacts, guys. Like they're fresh. So I was a little sad about that, but that's okay. I have just been like, I'm over being cold already. I love the winter, okay? I love the winter wonderland vibes. I love all the things. It is so much fun, but I don't like to be in it for long periods of time. And this past Monday, we went to the Chiefs and Eagles game, and it was so awesome. So I live near Kansas City, and we were able to go to the Chiefs game. Garrett had bought tickets for the family back in like, like June. So we went, and it was awesome, but it did drizzle on us like the entire time, and it was a little cold. It was a great game, I will say that. I don't know much about football, right? Like I'm there for the event. I'm there for people coming together, and just like the tailgate, right? But there wasn't that much of a tailgate because it was drizzling rain the entire time. My brother, my dad got to go, Garrett's mom, my sister-in-law got to come with her boyfriend. They are huge Eagles fans. Adriana's husband, Christian, is an Eagles fan. So like we had a good mix, okay? We had all the things. Everyone was in good spirits. As we sat in the drizzly cold rain, I had like a few like hand warmers. I was like, oh my gosh, please work. Like I was just relying on everything. We had picked them up from the gas station on the way there. I was like, please let these gas station hand warmers not be expired. Like I just want them to work. And we sat in the drizzly rain. I was like, okay, we're gonna sit in the rain. That's not a big deal. I will get hot chocolate. So Garrett and I hadn't eaten supper. I was like, we'll just get something from the game, right? We got 2 large hot dogs that, and I kid you not, like nobody was hardly in line for the stand, and I waited probably 10-13 minutes waiting for our like food, which it's a concession stand, a very major, big, nobody was hardly in this line. I was like, oh, like that took a long time. Hopefully it's fresh. It was cold. It was cold. I don't know what was taking so long, but the hot dog was literally cold, both of them. And then I was like, oh, like I ordered a hot chocolate. I was like, a hot chocolate will be great. I can hold it in my hands. And so while I'm waiting, Garrett had ran and got a beer and some water. And he had came back, he was like, hey, like, how's it going? I was like, I'm still waiting. He's like, oh, what'd you get? And I was like, oh, I got us 2 hot dogs, and then I got us cheese bites or something, pretzel bites. I got pretzel bites. And then I was like, oh, and I also ordered a hot chocolate. He's like, oh, a hot chocolate? Did you see it was 1,670 calories? I said, excuse me? The cup is like a standard like 16 ounce. Are you kidding me? I was like, what do you mean 1,670 calories? Not that I'm like counting my calories like that, but I was like looking on the board, and it said the hot chocolate was over, like, that is a lot of calories for a hot chocolate, right? I was like, man, this has got to be the best hot chocolate I've ever had. And in comparison to like a Starbucks drink, like if you want to compare a Starbucks drink, or even if you want to compare like a Big Mac meal is around 1,500 calories for a Big Mac, a soda, and fries, right? And so I'm like, that is for a hot chocolate, right? Like I am expecting melted chocolate, thick milk, not thick milk, but you know what I mean, like thick chocolate, like very good. And we walk out, we finally get our food, and we're eating our hot dog, and it was like cold, and I was like, at least my hot chocolate will be cold, or warm, right? My hot chocolate was cold. It was cold, and it tasted like the Ready Mix, but watered down. I was like, ugh. On one hand, it's good that it wasn't 1,600 calories, but on the other hand, I was like, I paid $11 for this, and it's lukewarm. Yeah, it's like a cool cup, but it wasn't giving. Okay, so I was very sad about that selection, and I sat for, I think, 4 hours, you know, from start to finish, from getting there, and hanging around in the stadium, all the things. It was a long time in the cold. So then fast forward to Thanksgiving weekend, it was really chilly. We did the turkey trot. I will say the turkey trot was so much fun this year because I didn't do it alone. My 3 sisters came with me, and we all met at my mom's house, and we drove to Des Moines, which is like a 3-hour drive from our mom's house, 2 hours, 45 minutes or something like that. And we stayed in a hotel, woke up early the next morning, and ran the turkey trot. I have not trained running for quite some time. I was a little nervous, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous that my mind would give up. This is hard, you know, like it's cold outside, and my little sister Lily is a cross country runner for college. My 2 other sisters ran cross country in high school. Like I never really ran long distance, and I've tried really hard. I want to be a runner girly. I think it would be so much fun to, you know, just jaunt and do a little run, you know, so I'm working on that. But I was like, man, I'm feeling a little nervous. And last year I did the 8K, which is 5 some miles. This year I was like on the edge. I was like, I want to push myself, right? Like I'm always down for a challenge. I'm always down to like make myself better. And I had to have an honest conversation with myself and say, you want to push yourself, but you don't want to put yourself up in a bad situation, right? Like I'm not going to set myself up for failure. I'm not going to do something to where it completely breaks me down mentally, where I don't want to do it anymore, right? Like let's keep it fun. Let's keep it light. So this year I was like, you know what? I know in your brain, because I always want to do one more. I always want to stack one more thing on. I always want to do too much, right? Like I want to add it. I want to do one more. And in some areas of my life, that has definitely served me. In some areas, I am so grateful that I can do some more. I can push it, and I can add it all on my plate. But this weekend, I told myself, I was like, you know what? Like, who are you trying to prove this to? Who are you trying to prove it to? No, like it's you and me, baby. Like, yes, my sisters were coming, but I know that Caitlin and Ashley, my 2 other sisters, were gonna jog it. And Lily had to like send in stats to her cross country coach for her training over Thanksgiving break. So I knew ultimately I was gonna be by myself. And nobody knows me here. Like absolutely not a single soul knew me. So it was totally a competition with myself. And I just told myself, you already showed up. You're already here. Like, let's do the 5K. Okay? Let's not fret that we could have done the 8K. Let's just be happy where we're at and try to run the best race that we can. So I will say this year I brought wired headphones over wireless because last year I tried the wireless and they kept like disconnecting with everybody like running. So it was like, okay, wired headphones. I listened to one of my favorite podcasts and I was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, it does not matter. Like my watch is still programmed to like when I was running often. So it was telling me how high my heart rate was, or I'm below pace, or I'm above pace. And I'm happy to say, without any training, I kid you not, I have not ran all summer. The last I ran was probably last year. Like I really have not done any running, maybe April or March, but really and truly no running. I've done cycle bar this past summer. I've done hot yoga. So honestly, like I was very happy with my 11.04 average per mile. Okay, it was like 11. I think my last one was like in the 10-minute mark because like you always run the last one faster. And I was extremely happy with the 11 to 10 minute mark. And a lot of people might say, oh my gosh, that's really slow in comparison to Lily, who runs a 7-minute mile. You know, like I am 3-4 minutes slower than Lily. So I was just happy. I was like, oh my gosh, you made it. Oh my gosh, you didn't walk. Oh my gosh, that could have been so much worse. It could have been a 20-minute mile. You could have had, you know, like couldn't breathe, like couldn't finish any of the things. So I was just happy that I was able to do it, right? And instead of beating myself up, because I felt so good after, I was like, yeah, like I did 3, I could have probably done 5. But I was like, this is just a good benchmark for, hey, I haven't had any training and I was able to do it. What about those days where I don't want to work out at all? I don't want to get my steps in. I don't want to walk on my treadmill. How quickly could I run a mile? How quickly could I run 2 miles just to like get outside and get some fresh air? Because it is winter time. It's December. It's the time where we spend the most indoors. I endured it then. Can't I do it now? So it was an amazing, like, just mindset, really and truly. I know a lot of people have controversy about like, oh, you're either a turkey trot family or you are like a good food, like stay inside, like football family. Like, I don't think that there should be divisiveness against either one. I think you should spend Thanksgiving and the holidays how you truly feel. And like it does, maybe this year we did a turkey trot, and next year we don't because we're traveling or we're doing something else. I think we put so much divisiveness, like, oh, you're either this or you're that. Like, I was just so grateful that I was able to have my legs run. Like, I was able to make it across the finish line. And I was like, man, oh man, like, I'm so proud of myself, right? So I was cold during the turkey trot. I will say I was way better prepared this year, as in like clothing wise, because last year I wore this vest that like kept flapping in the wind. It was really annoying. I also had like my little belt. I had my wired headphones, and I really think that I need to get more of a routine of like cardio and running some more. My problem with cycle bar this summer is I felt like it was too much cardio. Like I couldn't do cycle bar and then go for a run because I wasn't getting any strength training in. So I'm really happy with the bar and hot yoga and the power yoga that I've been doing in comparison to the cycle bar. It has been 2 full months of the power life. I've been enjoying it so much, and I feel like my muscles are being worked in ways that I like hadn't been doing it. So maybe, you know, we did get our first snow today, so like it has me very apprehensive about running outside, but I have winter shoes. Like I have a coat, I have like a hat, I have gloves, like I have all the things, plus like I can run on my road, like where I live. So it's not even like I have to drive somewhere to run. So that was just like my little, like inner reflecting. If I can do this, like I can do anything. And also like, hey, It's okay to just do the 5K. It's okay to walk a 5K. It's okay to not do a turkey trot at all and maybe like go for a walk after like lunch with your family down your road 2 blocks, right? Like, I just think it's important to be active, be outside, and to also be connected. I got to hang out with my sisters. We rented a hotel room. It has been so long since it's just been the 4 of us, right? Like, just us girls, no husbands, no boyfriends, no parents, like just us. And it was a great time just to like hang out and be together. So I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a kid-coded weekend though. I like my niece and nephew, my nieces and nephew. I always want to say nieces and nephew, like as I mean like nephew plural. Nephews, whatever. But I have 1 nephew and 2 beautiful nieces. So Marcella, Savannah, and Malcolm. And this weekend, my mother dug out my Polly Pockets. Okay, I have not seen these Polly Pockets since I was a child. Okay, like very youth. We put them away for storage. Like, we were adults. We're on our cell phones now and like texting boys. Like, we weren't playing with the dolls. And my mom pulled out our Polly Pockets, and it was like a part in your brain that had been itched that had not been itched for a very long time. Like, I didn't even know that it needed to be scratched, but I was like, I feel like if you had the like little oh my gosh, like the little, oh my gosh, I can't even think of it. Not systems, like when people are they're at the hospital and they like monitors, oh my gosh, a brain monitor. If you could have stuck all those like little sticky tabs on my brain and connected it to a computer to monitor the activity in my brain, I feel like it would have lit up like a Christmas tree. I was so excited to see these Polly Pockets. I was pulling them out and I was like, oh my gosh. And like I said, I have 3 sisters. Lily is 7 years apart from Caitlin and Ashley. Lily actually was just on the podcast back in November, I think it was November 6th. So you can go check that out. But we're 7 years apart. So Caitlin and Ashley and I, like, we are a year apart. Like, Caitlin and I are a month apart. Ashley is a year apart. Like, we are all like in it together. We had all the toys, all the same things. Mom had to buy multiples for us girls, and we had Polly Pockets galore. And I could immediately identify mine. It has been I'm 25, since I was 9. Like, it has been so many years since I've seen these Polly Pockets. This is something you forget about, right? And I could instantly, like, we played these really hot and heavy when we were like 5 and 6. We took them camping because they were easy to rinse off. I knew immediately which ones were mine. I could pick them out, and memories were just flooding my brain. My mother might have said that I was a little bossy with my niece, but Marcella and I were having a blast playing with these, and she said I was not bossy, okay? But I was like, yeah, I guess you can play with my Polly Pocket, and I immediately like just inherited this like really high-pitched like Polly Pocket voice, and it was just like really fun to kind of like disconnect from the electronics, disconnect from my computers, my phone, all the things. It was so funny. This Sunday, I always get like my report for my phone. It was like, your phone usage was down 45%. I was like, hell yeah. Like, that means I was totally immersed. I was totally present, and I wasn't worrying about what everybody else was doing. But it was really great just to get my mind back in that like creative play, and we dressed all the Polly Pockets. I was like, this one's mine. I know that one's your mom's. And it was so funny. We had 2 boy Polly Pockets. One of the boys was mine, and one of the boys was Caitlin's, and I knew it was Caitlin's. He had like stick up hair, spiky hair. Had spiky hair, and also she accidentally broke his neck, so it like bobbles weird, but that's neither here nor there. We also had these like special edition, like Disney ones. So we had an Ariel, we had a Cinderella, Snow White. It was so fun. And then, so Caitlin, Ashley, and I are all in the same like years, right? Mom was buying multiples of these dolls, and it was really funny. Some of the dolls would have like a K on the butt, like just like written in a little Sharpie, or an L for Logan. But Marcella only knows me as my nickname that she picked when she was younger, which is TT. Just not my favorite, aunt name in the world. I wanted to be Lolly, like Logan, Lolly, like I just thought it was fun. But no, she, like Mom said one time, what about TT? And she latched onto it. So she only knows like a T. And my first name is also Taylor, so I've always gone by my middle name. But it was like, okay, Mom was thinking of all the names. She's like, oh, like Taylor, like to Logan. Like they were just making up a lot of names. It's really fun when you have like a new like baby, especially the first baby, on like who's gonna be named what. And so Mom was like, oh, like T, like TT. And so that was kind of, the whole little preface behind it, because that kind of seems like so different from my actual name. But Marcella completely latched onto it. She loves TT. She loves saying it. She like wrote on her cups, and it was horrible. She put a T-T like for TT, but it really looked like just tit. Like I was like, oh my gosh. She calls Garrett Uncle Garrett, Uncle Gary, like we all have our names, it doesn't matter. Anyways, so on the butt, like of a couple of the Polly Pockets, we initialed them because there was multiples. Like we all had Ariel, we all had Belle. And so Marcella was like, oh, K, this is for Caitlin. And I'm sorry, that wasn't the one that she noticed. She noticed L. She was, oh, Aunt Lily, because that's Lily's like name, Aunt Lily. Auntie Lily, I think is what she calls her. And I was like, no. And she is gonna be 6 in December. But she I'm like, no, that's actually Logan's. That's Aunt Logan's, that's mine. Aunt Lily was 7 years apart. And so all these Polly Pockets with the big heads, those are Lily's. Like those are Lily's, because they're a different generation Polly Pocket. They look totally different. But it was really sweet. And I was like, see the K? That's for your mom. K for Caitlin. I don't know if she knew her mom's name or not, but I was like, I'm gonna educate you right now, girly. Okay, it's you and me, and these are mine, and don't break them. But it was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I swear. Like, it just brought back so many memories, and I just love that I was able to create a new memory with her. Like, she got a memory, I got a new memory with like the same dolls. And although I hate clutter in my house, and I do like to make sure that we're getting rid of things that we don't like, and we are storing things properly, decluttering, like we don't have any joy towards it, like we're getting rid of it, we're donating it. I will say I'm so happy that my mother held on to these Polly Pockets, because she could have easily sold them at a garage sale. She could have easily, donated them, or honestly thrown them in the garbage. But she kept every single one of our toys, and she just thought, hey, like the girls are gonna want these when they have their own children, or, like in the future just to reminisce or whatever. I'm so glad, because I got to sit down with my very bright, fun niece, and I got to play Polly Pockets with her. And that was such I know that's a core memory for her, because she had never played with these Polly Pockets before. They were my Polly Pockets. Like, Mom literally had my brother go through the totes and find these that had been stored for so long. So it was just an incredible memory. It was definitely kid-coded weekends. We had so much fun. We played it 2 days in a row, okay? Thursday and Friday we were playing Polly Pockets. It was amazing. It was so much fun. And then Savannah, who is 3, also got to play, but she is still in the like toddler phase. So she was not as fun as Marcella, but I'm hopeful in the year's future, like she'll be just as fun. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. Like, it's actually crazy to see the, like, just a mental difference between a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I know you would think, oh my gosh, like, duh. But Marcella and I, like, pretended to have a wedding on Thursday, and Friday she remembered, oh, let's have another wedding. Savannah was listening, but like Savannah didn't remember that. Like, it's just crazy, the cognitive intelligence between a 3 and a 5-year-old. Like, Savannah is definitely smart. Like, Savannah is still a toddler though. Like, Savannah wants to take off all the Polly Pocket's clothes and like, this is my doll, like I don't want to like share, you know? So it was a lot of fun to see the different personalities and just like making a core memory with my niece. It was a blast. Like, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays of all, but we're going into December, y'all. Like, we are in the transition, and transitioning from your Thanksgiving into your Christmas, or, you know, whatever winter holiday you celebrate, it can be so difficult, right? Like, I mentally have to get in the mindset of Christmas. It did help. Today we had our very, very first snow. Like, that always helps, like getting into the Christmas spirit. But it is like brutal. Like, I live in Missouri now, but our winters are still like just like, they're not as bad as Northeast Iowa, but it's cold, okay? And we get a lot of ice. So it's like, all right, we cannot do as much as we did this summer, right? Like, going outside, things freeze to the ground, but also the transition inside. And I have a couple tips that help me, especially just like get ready, get in the mindset, and also the Christmas spirit. So Sunday, we got home Saturday, and Sunday was a complete reset for me. I think it's really important when you start to transition, one, your house, but also your mindset and your entire, like, everything. Like, the holidays are tough. Like, the winter season is tough. If you experience any seasonal depression or even like winter blues, it's you have to put in certain like routines. They're going to help you with their transition and also to keep like an upbeat, positive mindset. The first thing is always like exercise, making sure that you have plenty of time to go on a walk. Like, it doesn't have to be super strenuous. It can be inside. It can, right now, I'm sure all the fitness places are gearing up for the new year. But it's just a really good idea to make sure that you are getting enough physical activity in. If you go from your desk to home because you don't want to do anything, you just want to curl up on the couch, like, I get you. I also want to rot on the couch, but our dreams, even though it is like a slower time period, our dreams are still waiting for us to complete things, right? And to get them moving and to actually like, hey, it might be winter, but that doesn't mean it's a stop. We can still be like pursuing these things. I like to set up my environment to help me. I want to make sure that I have an area where I can bake cookies, right? Like, the holidays have so much baking involved with them. I want to make sure my kitchen is clean, that if I want to bake cookies for something, I can bake cookies. If I need to wrap packages, hey, my office is in a mess, I can wrap packages. It's the little things, it's everything. So this Sunday was a clean day. I really think that you have to have a clean slate, literally, before you start with any sort of holiday decor. Personally, we have been gone for about a week. I did a lot of prep before we left, like making sure the laundry was clean, doing a rough vacuum. By rough vacuum, I mean we have 2 dogs. It's never perfect. There's always a dog hair floating around, but it's like I did a vacuum. Like I got the big, huge hairballs out of the way. But coming back, like there was a couple things I left in the fridge. So making sure you do a fridge clean out. Any leftovers, anything that has been sitting in the back of your fridge that you're like, oh, like I'm not really sure what that is. Thanksgiving for me, it just passed. So I had cranberry sauce in there from, my Thanksgiving on my Lee side. And I also had stew from 2 weeks ago that I forgot about because we had Thanksgiving leftovers. And just because Thanksgiving is such a food holiday and there's so much prep to it, like sometimes things can get stuck in the back of the fridge. So just doing like an overall, okay, we're throwing out what is bad. When was the last time you cleaned your fridge? Okay, give it a little wipe down. I also haven't cleaned our trash can drawer in the last month. Usually I try to do it every 2 to 3 weeks. Depending on how messy it was. We've had a lot of boxes come, so part of the drawer has had boxes. I went ahead and bleached it down. I cleaned my trash can lid. I cleaned out my fridge. Like that all to me is the root of your prep. You want to make sure that whatever you're bringing into the house, whether it's new decor, old decor that you're just now bringing out, food, whatever, it's a clean slate. Also, if you're anything like me, you're gonna have people stop by. Friends, family, neighbors, anybody, okay? They're gonna stop by, and I would prefer to have a low maintenance, already clean house. I don't wanna have to do a big clean in preparation for someone to visit, right? I want it to just be, this is what I don't understand. Why do we always clean for the guests? We have to scrub everything. We have to make sure everything is so good for this guest. What about me? Why am I not making it good just for me? I want to walk in my home and it be clean and be like, oh wow, I'm really happy with this. I am more important than a guest in my own home, right? I want to be welcomed. I want it to be cozy. That's going to help prevent against any of the winter blues. Oh my gosh, I have so much laundry to do in comparison to, I've kept up with my laundry. I'm not going to feel this overwhelming mountain of clothes when I'm so cold from outside. I just want to hop in the hot shower, get in my cozy PJs, and rot on the couch watching whatever Hallmark movie is on, right? So it's these little things. And this Sunday, I cleaned out the fridge. I bleached the trash. I vacuumed again. And then I started slowly taking down the Thanksgiving stuff. We store in totes, okay? My mother has stored in totes. This is how I store my things. I've never had a storage unit per se. We always use the attic or the basement. I don't know how people store them in storage units, if it's a box or if it is a tote. I only know my personal routine, regulation, my system, okay? And I use totes. So I have one large big tote, and I picked up my pillows. I have these fall pillows. I wrapped the glass things. We have a glass pumpkin. I wrapped that in the hand towels. One, I made sure that the hand towels were clean, okay? Making sure you're storing clean things is so important. I vacuumed the pillows. I made sure that they were smelling fresh. I made sure that all of my towels that needed to be put away in the seasonal stuff were also clean. I wrapped the glass things in them. And I also took inventory of the things. Hey, did I like this? Was it broken? Do I want to keep it? Was it part, this is the time to go through all your stuff as you're packing it away. Was this a good purchase? Have I had this for a long time? Is this broken? You take inventory and you store it properly. Because you want to be surprised when you open it back up, oh, I forgot I had this turkey figurine, or oh, I forgot I bought placemats with leaves on them last year. and you also want them to be stored properly. We store ours in the attic. We have a brand new house. We don't have mice, but my mom stores hers in a machine shed, and she lives on a farm next to a cornfield, and she has to make sure that they are sealed up tight because she doesn't want mice making a little nest in her whatever, right? So storing it properly to prevent against like dust, dirt, bugs, anything, and also so it doesn't break. I cleaned out all of our Thanksgiving stuff, and I like put it in its tote nice and neat, and now my house doesn't have any seasonal decor out. And you want to sit with your house with no decor just for a couple hours, just for a day or so. And my fridge is clean, everything is clean, and I went to the grocery store. I also stopped at a couple like seasonal decor stores. And I think this is really important to do this without purchasing anything. Just look. So I went to Walmart, I went to Marshall's, I would have went to Hobby Lobby, but it was Sunday. I went to the Dollar Tree, I went to Dollar General. Like I went anywhere in my small little town. If I knew that they were gonna have seasonal decor, I went there. So as I'm walking around, I'm just taking it in. I will say I purchased one thing today, and that was a wreath, and it's like a rustic wreath with pine cones on it, and I knew I wanted it. Like I've been looking for a wreath. It's been 3 years. I've not had a winter wreath. I knew what I wanted. But for everything else, even if you think that you have a theme in mind, just take it in. So I restocked on all of our food because we've been out of food for quite some time, just a week because we were gone. But I went grocery shopping and I looked at all the decor. I looked at Marshall's, I looked at Walmart, I looked at the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, all the things. I will be going to Hobby Lobby this week, and I will be taking inventory there. After you look at everything that is in style, come back with your groceries, come back with like your errands, whatever you did that day. I had to restock my fridge. I had to make sure that we had flour, that we had seasoning, that we had milk, coffee, all the things. And I also just like took inventory of our holiday baking stuff. Like, do we have chocolate chips? Do we have stuff for cookies? Do we have vanilla extract? Do we have almond extract? Just taking an overall inventory of everything, because impulsive purchasing is fun. Okay, I love to shop. I love the dopamine hit when it comes to throwing things in the cart. I love to do that. But I don't want to be stuck with something I don't want, or a theme that does not serve me, it's not fun, it's not what I wanted. So I will take inventory of everything. And I've done this for years, where I will go and I will window shop. And I will look at it all, and then I'll come home and I will pull out the Christmas decor we already own. And I will pull it out and I will lay everything out, and I will say, okay, what do we love? What do we no longer want to have? And when I look through the stuff that we have, it gives me a better idea, because it's been a whole year since I've had this stuff out. It gives me a better idea of what we already own, what we can shift, what we can build upon, because Christmas decor is an investment. Like, decor in your house is an investment. Things in your house is an investment, and you don't want to have to buy things every single day. My fall or last quarter focus is to create an environment that I feel safe in, that I feel creative in, that I feel happy with. And so taking inventory of what I have gives me a better perspective on how I need to be using my money, right? Like using our funds, where can we save so then we can splurge? And I'm looking at our stuff. I really thought that I wanted to have a completely pink big tree. And when I was looking today, And I also window shopped with my mother-in-law, aunt-in-law, and Adriana last weekend, and I saw Christmas decor. And I really think that I would rather have a forest velvet kind of vibe. And if I would have just gone out and purchased a whole bunch of stuff thinking this is what I wanted, and then I added it, and then I thought, oh gosh, like I actually did not want this. This is not what I wanted. Now I have a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to be using, and I have to buy more stuff to get the aesthetic I want. So it's like this vicious cycle of, okay, like I thought I knew what I wanted, but then I forgot what I had, and then I forgot also like what is trendy, what is good, and the overall aesthetic I want. So I might have a mini pink tree because we have an extra tree from when Garrett and I were just dating, because I do have a couple pink ornaments that I bought last year, or they can go on my big tree. Like I just want like a romantic, fluffy, velvet tree. Like that is the vibe I'm wanting. I really like black. I really like traditional Christmas, and I am so glad I actually went and looked before I purchased, before I ordered on Amazon, before I picked up ornaments, before I did all the things. I was able to say, hey, like, what do we actually like? What do we not like? And when I pull out our Christmas stuff and start putting it up, it also reminds me of, hey, like we purchased this last year. Do we still like this vibe? There were ornaments. I bought these like little, they're flat wooden on the back and then plastic on the front, and they were like a snow globe, but they were like the black and white print, like plaid print, and then they had wooden Christmas trees in. Cute, but after a year of having them, I realized last year that I didn't like these ornaments anymore, that I didn't feel like they fit in our tree properly. They were too rustic, they were too whatever, they weren't my aesthetic anymore, and I did not like them. Your first thought is throw it away. Throw away the ornament. But what I did instead is I used them as a tag on a present. So when I had like our family exchange and I wrapped a present, I used it as the name tag, and on the back I wrote, to whoever, to Garrett, love Logan, whoever I am giving this package to. They got an ornament. It might not have been their style, but they also could have thrown it away. Instead of me buying like a tag or a fancy bow, because think about it, like I got these ornaments probably, I want to say like for $5 or $6 from Hobby Lobby 2 years ago. I've already had them on my tree for 2 years, and then decide, hey, like I actually don't like them anymore, and then I recycle them into a tag. Like instead of just buying a plastic bow that is also could be thrown away, right? So it's finding little ways like, hey, I might not like it anymore. Can I make it into a gift tag? I still gave them a gift. This was just like a little bow on top. It was the aesthetic. A lot of Christmas is about the aesthetic. It's the same thing of buying a sparkly plastic ribbon and slapping it on a birthday present and then them taking off the wrapping paper and throwing it away, right? I'd already had 2 years and I wrote their name on it. Like, that's fun. I loved it, okay? It was a great way to repurpose an ornament that I had no longer any use for. It also allowed me to take a step back and say, hey, like, do I actually like this style of ornament? No, I will know in the future not to purchase more of them. Because it's not the fact like, oh, like you have to throw them away, like there's so much waste in this world. Buying it in the first place could have been the problem. And so if you can take inventory of what you have and what is available before actually making the purchase, then you can reduce the waste in the world. Then you can reduce spending money frivolously on things that aren't actually valuable to you, that you will have years and years to come, like the Polly Pockets my mom saved. So I really like to just take inventory of what is out there, then take inventory of what I have. Maybe I'll go on Pinterest, maybe I'll scroll on Instagram, and I will see what other people are doing with their trees, with their holiday decor, with their inside, whatever. And then I will see, is there anything I could add to my tree? I will go back shopping. I will go to Hobby Lobby. I will do the things and I will purchase those few things that I feel would add value to my home. Because ultimately, I want my house to be a cozy environment. I want to be able to get off work, be at home, and feel no stress. There's already so much stress during the holidays on gift giving or what you're gonna do or end of the quarter, right? Like if you're in a corporate career and you're trying to hit deliverables or make sure that the budget is good or whatever, finish up on a project before the holidays, coordinate everybody's gatherings. Like it is intensive. So if I can find any fun way to just make sure that I'm being taken care of, I'm gonna do it. Stocking our fridge with fresh vegetables or fruit or meat sources that I can, cook up and feel really good about, that's gonna help with my mindset. Making sure that, it's aesthetically pleasing to come home to. Outside is so dreary. Like I want something warm and cozy. We have candles, we have lights. Like that is such a magical vibe. When you can cozy up with a movie, like I want to be able to get my work done, right? Like really show up as hard as I can, focus on the work, and then when it's time to play, I'm ready to play. Having a clean kitchen, like to bake cookies, if you think back to your childhood, what made it so special? It was the energy around it. So if you can make your home good energy, you're gonna have a little bit of that magical childhood that you experienced then that you would love to experience now, right? Adulthood is so different than childhood. So I'm changing out my bedding, right? Like we have fleece sheets on that have a little reindeer. They're really cute. My bathroom, I have holiday soap, okay? And I know glitter will not kill bacteria, but it's still fun. Or to have a special like peppermint body wash. Anything that can just brighten your routine is really gonna help against the winter blues. I also like to decorate outside. So we have Christmas lights on the house, not yet. Garrett said since it snowed today, he was not putting them up, but we will soon. And coming home, when you wake up super early in the morning and it's dark out and you go to work and it's dark out and you come home and it's dark out, that can be so, like, it can be a mind fuck. You're like, what the heck? I go to bed, like I wake up, it's dark, it's dark, it's dark. That can be really, really sad. So having lights on your home, when you drive up, you're like, oh my gosh, the house is so cheery. I can't wait to go inside. I can't wait to cook up a meal that I've planned. Like I love planning out the meals. If I go shopping on Saturday or Sunday, like I'm like, we have ingredients for these 5 things. We can have them any day. Pick which one you want on the list. You're home before I am or in the morning. Let's pull out some meat. Let's, get it ready. And when you can come home to an environment that is so inviting and just like cozy, it's immediately going to give you a positivity boost. If you live in an apartment, I understand. Having a cheerful wreath on your door or a little like foot mat, even if it's outside your door. My sister-in-law lives in Chicago. She lives in an apartment and her boyfriend have the cutest little mat in front of their door and a cute wreath. Okay, they live in an apartment building. Like they still make it cheerful for them to come home to. They have lights on their window. It is still like a very cozy vibe. So if you don't live in a house and you live in an apartment, you can still make your environment cozy. If you live with your parents, like if you're a kid, if you're in college, like you have a roommate, you can still do these little ways to just brighten your day. You can get a little holiday tree shaped or pillow shaped in the tree, a tree or a snowflake or something, and put it on your bed. Like if you're in a dorm room, get a mini Christmas tree. Like my little sister has a Christmas tree. It is literally like a foot tall. It is pink. It came already decorated. And she's like, yeah, this is what me and my roommate have in our dorm room. Like it's these little ways to just like help transition into the fall where you could, you know, go outside and hang out to now we have to stay inside a lot. How can we make staying inside even more magical than if we didn't? It can be so hard during the holidays at work, with your family, with your friends, trying to balance it all. Coming home to a sanctuary can really help your mental health and help with the mental burden of everything else. If your environment is taken care of, if your environment is good, it's going to clear up so much space in your brain where you can excel in other areas, where you can be the best in other areas that wouldn't have been able to if it was messy. I know that if my desk is a mess, I am totally rambunctious. If my house is a mess, the only thing I'm thinking about is my house. But if my house is clean, my brain is able to focus on other areas. If I have clean laundry, I'm more likely to go to the gym, right? Like if I actually have a sports bra that I'm able to put on and head to the gym without fishing through a laundry basket or trying to find something that is not that dirty, then I'll probably get some physical activity in. It's all these little ways of taking care of yourself and your environment so that you can show up as the very best version of yourself, and where you feel taken care of and you feel like, hey, I actually can handle this. It's your entire nervous system, and your environment plays a huge part in that. And just having a wind down routine. I love personally to take off my makeup, get ready for bed. I have matching pajamas now. Like I explained that, I think this summer is when I got rid of all my mismatched shorts and big t-shirts, like matching sets. So I feel put together when I go to bed. I have books by my nightstand. I have red light in my bedroom so I can turn off the harsh lights and I can cozy up in bed with a book and have a better wind down routine. With the shorter days and the less light, people don't have a good transition of their work day into nighttime. When the sun goes down and it's dark, something in our brain triggers, hey, like it's time for bed. But if we go straight from coming home to shoveling down supper to watching TV and then falling into bed, where is the self-care? Where is the, hey, like this is our life and we're gonna live it? So having a home-cooked meal, taking a shower and pampering yourself with maybe some peppermint stuff, or big fluffy socks and a towel, or settling into bed with your matching, holiday pajamas and a new book. I just started a book. It's called A Day in December. So cute. I'm only like 50 pages in, but I feel so good when I'm curling up with my book, my red light, and I have my skincare done, my big glass of water, and I'm like, hey, like, this is amazing. Like, I feel the transition and I feel the mental boost when I'm doing these things. And studies show actually having a Christmas tree up, the earlier you put your Christmas tree up, the better it is literally for your mental health. That there's something in our brain that literally lights up when a Christmas light is on, and the cheerfulness of it all. So if you suffer from any sort of seasonal depression or winter blues, or even just feeling low energy, you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm waking up and it's dark out, I'm going to work and then I'm coming home and it's dark out. Like if you're feeling any part of this, know that you are not alone. Know that this happens to people in general. Like, you're not alone. I would highly, I'm not a doctor, but I would suggest going, talking to someone, therapy, doctor, whatever, going outside, getting the physical activity, drinking enough water, making sure your vitamin C levels are well, all the things, and know that you are not in this alone. There are ways that we can combat this, and we don't have to feel stressed during the holiday season. I want to thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I enjoyed hanging out and chatting with you. If you didn't know, we have the Golden Gal Network where we take the podcast and we take it to real life. We have an event coming up December 5th. We are ice skating at Crown Center. If you haven't got your tickets yet, you can find them linked down below, and also find us on social media at the Golden Gal Network. And that's all I have for you today. Until next time, bye!